join DWeb Discord and come into the Hacker Hall. And then I'll post, oops, that was weird. Just posted that without the link. It's this one here. And we'll see, so that goes into there. On YouTube, we have 23 concurrent viewers on YouTube. Okay, we're live on YouTube. There we go. It's just that easy.
Yoo-hoo! Hi.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to a very special ZK AV Club Foundry session, a workshop Foundry session. We're joined today by Tommy from DWeb, who is gracious enough to help us fumble through this amazing tool that we're going to be showing you. So, Tommy, welcome, and thank you for joining us.
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you all. I'm Tommy. I'm 25. I use neutral and male pronouns. I am connecting from Italy, and if you hear like scooters and engines, it's because I have the street in front of me, and then there is the Mediterranean Sea. So sorry for the noise, but it's life in Italy. And it's too hot to close my window. Sorry. Maybe I can tell you a few words about DWeb and what it is before we get started. So DWeb is all about celebrating those who make the decentralized web happen. Whatever it means in any possible interpretation you might have of what decentralized web is, well, DWeb supports you.
I lost Tommy's audio. Tommy, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I think
it's just me.
Can you hear me again? Dun, dun, dun. We have spoken for
Keep
1 hour before going live, and everything worked well. Anyways, should I go on? Maybe yes. Anyways, Ryan is the steward of the DWeb node Berlin, so he knows the story already. So DWeb started as Brewster Kahl's idea. Brewster Kahl is the founder and current director of the Internet Archive. And a few years back, he realized that it was the time to foster this growing environment and this brewing energy concerning the development of decentralized technologies, be it protocols, be it practices beyond the merely technical aspect of it. And this is how the first DWeb camp took place, and it was born out of this idea and this vision. And it's now taking place, it took place every year until 2024. In 2025, we are hitting pause on the global DWeb camp in one place in North California. And what we are doing is we are trying to empower local nodes such as DWeb Berlin and ZK AV Club and all of the independent communities who are part of DWeb in different ways to do their own things and to decentralize the decentralized web movement. And so this is what we're doing this year. There's going to be a Cascadia camp in Canada from the 8th to the 10th of August. Just a few days later, the web seminar at the Internet Archive in San Francisco. And then in November, the WebCamp Brazil, where also Ryan will be going. And I envy him a lot for this. And the future, at least from this perspective, looks very bright. A lot of incredible people doing awesome stuff. And with this positive perspective, maybe I leave it to you, Ryan, to give a bit of an introduction to what we're doing now.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for mentioning the Cascadia camp. Also, that's really exciting. I saw that link was just posted in the DWeb channels. So if you're in the Cascadia region of North America, then definitely at the beginning of August, try to make it to that. It's going to be really cool. And I will be jealous of you then, because these camps are awesome. Everyone that I've been to, no matter where it is, it carries the spirit of DWeb, and it's really fantastic. So Tommy, thank you for that introduction. And now, so what we're doing here now is it's a part of the Zero Knowledge Audiovisual Club Foundry Workshop series. So Zero Knowledge Audiovisual Club is a collective of audiovisual experts and enthusiasts who come from all different kinds of communities around the world. And our main goal is to help communities to document themselves, to create their own archives, and to collaborate with one another in order to build their own community and to build a documentation archive, an audiovisual documentation of their community in this place and time. So Internet Archive is very important to this. The idea of the Zero Knowledge Audiovisual Club largely came from my experience with the DWeb community and with the DWeb camps. So what we want to do is to enable these communities today with this powerful tool of the Internet Archive command line interface. And it can be a little bit scary. The command line in general can be scary to people who are used to graphic user interface, things that you can just drag and drop and click on and have nice web forms to use. But this shouldn't stop you from trying it, because like it's surprisingly easy. If you're using Ubuntu, then even better. Like this is really the best place to start if you're using Linux of any kind. But this also works in any Unix environment. And what I can show you on my screen here, if we switch over to it, Rama, can you switch to my screen? Yeah, there we go. And so the Internet Archive command line tool is available from the command line. You use it to install it, and it has these instructions in the documentation. Even just this documentation can be kind of intimidating. So we aren't going to go into how to actually install it. There are very simple, this command right here, this curl is a command for the command line that will download a file from whatever URL you give it, whatever address you give it. And you can run this just in your terminal, whether you're in Linux or Mac OS or Windows. It'll work also there. That downloads it, and then you want to change the permissions to make it executable. This has already probably gone over a lot of people's heads. If you're new to the command line, then this can be confusing and intimidating. And we are available for you if you need help getting through this installation stage. We're going to skip through it today because it can cause some hiccups and some delays that we want to avoid in order to get to how to use the actual tool, because we want to show you how to use the tool. We want to show you the power of the tool and get you excited about it. And then you can reach out to us and say, hey, I want to install this thing. How do I do it? You can also find this documentation at archive.org/developers. And the quick start, I think it even just archive.org/developers will get you there. So if you want to read the documentation, go to that website. If you want to see how it works and what you can do with it, then keep watching, because we're going to show you that right now.
Great, but also the most important thing of all is to never trust those who say Linux is hard, because in these specific cases, Linux is the easiest to use. It's a pain to make this work elsewhere, much more than it is on Linux. It's just plug and go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Linux has become very easy to use. If you haven't used it before, I always recommend people start with Ubuntu, but there are a ton of different versions. So you can actually make it look like Windows XP with this nice clean layout, and then you have access to the command line. And there's massive software stores for open source software that you can install, because Linux has been the Linux community has been together and building for like 30 years now or more. And there's the open source community is really thriving now. So like there's all sorts of open source software available to replace what you're used to using that you're paying for through Adobe and Microsoft and all of this. Like there's free and open source solutions now, including like Open Broadcaster, OBS, which we're using to live stream this very call. And Open Office, there's also Only Office is a new one that I found that is really nice and clean. But anyway, I digress. Let's get to the Internet Archive. So once you have it installed, then there's the simple command for you learning about any kind of command line software. Like you'll have it on in your system as this IA is the command to run in order to get into the tool to browse the Internet Archive, to upload to the Internet Archive, to do anything with your content on the Internet Archive or everything that's there. And with this -H command, which is help on any kind of command line tool, you can get this help list, and it goes into the actual commands as well. So like I just did this /IA -H, and let's say I wanted to upload something, for example, I would type up -H, and it gives me the help for the upload command. So we'll start with just the -H, and this gives us what can we do with this tool, with this command line tool for browsing and uploading and all of that. Well, we can manage our account. You'll have to be able to add your email address and password for your account that you would use for like logging into the Internet Archive on the web. You can go create an account on the Internet Archive. It's free. It's super easy to do. You should have one. I encourage everyone to get an Internet Archive account. And once you start using it and you see what the Internet Archive has to offer, you're going to be super grateful that you have that account at least. But you can also use this command line tool only with an account. So start by going there. You'll have to run the configure command when you first install your IA command line tool. I already did this, but essentially you would type IA and then CO would work, or -configure. And then it's going to ask for credentials. That didn't work. Is it just, let's try just CO. Ah, look at that. Now it asks for credentials. I'm already logged in, so I'm just going to exit out of this. And so that's CO. There's also copy, delete, download. So I could download anything from a specific artifact, from a specific item that's already been uploaded. There's other commands in here that I don't know about, that I don't understand. Flag, list files from archive.org item. This is neat. You can search for, retrieve all the metadata, and we'll go into what metadata is and how to fill it all out. This is what Tommy's going to walk us through in just a minute. You can move things around on your archive items. You can submit reviews, search for the archive. The search is an interesting one because this is basically a search box like you can see on archive.org. Here I have an item that I've created and added to the archive, and there's a search box there. Basically, when you search in the command line, you're going to be searching the same as what it would be doing on the web, and it will return with, let's see, -IA, and then we'll go search, and let's just try dweb. Let's do a search for dweb, and we'll see what it comes back with. A lot of stuff wrapped in squirrely braces and curly braces and quotes, and it's all preceded with this identifier thing.
But not as much stuff as if you search for the Grateful Dead.
Correct. Yeah. This is the first search that I tried, was the Grateful Dead, because I heard that there's so much live recordings uploaded to Internet Archive for the Grateful Dead live shows that you could actually watch or listen to all of it for the rest of your life and never listen to all of it. Like the Grateful Dead live collection on Internet Archive is something of legend. I noticed that there's actually like a help page. Like if you search for Internet Archive, the Grateful Dead, like check this out. This is kind of crazy. help.archive.org, help the Grateful Dead collection. Like, it has its own section in the Internet Archive documentation. So that's crazy. This is like super. It says a lot about what the Grateful Dead has done in history and in their creating of art. But our dweb search gives us something a little more concise. It's still pretty massive. It looks like Paul has uploaded a lot of stuff. These might be pictures. And these are all identifiers. So an identifier is a unique phrase, or it's a unique string that identifies an individual item in the Internet Archive. So I can find any of these. I'm going to actually show you something a little different because I already have my item open here, and I'll be referring back to this same item in a minute. But you can get the identifier by just looking at your Internet Archive URL, and it's like archive.org/details/dwebstories Brazil 2023. This is the identifier in the URL. So I can copy that, and I can put it into the command line with IA space, and we'll go metadata because I want to see the metadata for this item. And then I'll just paste it in there. And it comes back with all of this, which is even more confusing than what we saw before. You can fix that with, this is called JSON, JSON, in case you're not familiar. This is where we get into some more technical stuff, and I'm not going to go too deep, but there is a tool to turn this into a file that you can read that looks much more like this. This was a search that I did for metadata on this item, on this dweb stories Brazil item, that came out looking like this. And I turned it into a JSON file that I can open in a text file, in a text editor. And this is each original file that was uploaded to this item. So you can see these MP4 files that I've been uploading, and it has the metadata for each file. So the file size, the length as far as time goes, the resolution for the videos. So if you really enjoy digging through data and learning about specific artifacts that have been published to the Internet Archive, then you can spend a whole lot of time with this tool. And like, here is the command that's used. So this is the command that I used to create this file here that is a list of the individual original files that have been uploaded to my dweb stories Brazil 2023 item. And what this command says, real quick, is search for the metadata for this identifier for this item. And then there's this pipe character, which says, with what this gives us, use this other tool called JQ that parses, it reads the JSON file that it gets back, all of this stuff. And it filters it for the files that are original. And this arrow here says, with all of that data, with everything in here that it's giving me back, create a new file in this location called dweb stories Brazil 2023 _sources.json. So instead of showing it to me here, it's just going to output it to a file, and that file is right here. I probably lost a whole bunch of you on all of that, but again, we're here for you. And if you want to dig in more in detail into this in a one-on-one or to have another workshop, get a hold of us and ask any questions that you have about all of this stuff. We're going to keep going forward now, because here I just explained to you how to search through the Internet Archive using this tool, how to turn the data that you get into a file that you can read through. And you can really nerd out on all of the information and all the data that is on the archive that's attached to all of these items. But what I really want to get into is, how does someone add an item to the Internet Archive? because we're the Zero Knowledge Audio Visual Club, and we record a lot of content. We just came from the DWeb camp last summer. We left with around 500 gigabytes of video, and we needed to upload it all to the Internet Archive, and I have to add all of this metadata and stuff. So that's why we're here, is because I asked Tommy to, hey, show me how we can do this in an easier way, instead of going to Internet Archive and clicking on this upload option and then going through the web interface. I don't want to do this anymore. So Tommy, please save me from this web interface and show me how the pros do it. How do the
first of all,
Hacker-Librarians...
allow me to say that I was so humbled to receive your message. Like, out of the blue, what if we do a workshop on uploading big files to the Internet Archive? And I said, wow, Ryan is asking me, of all people. And I'm very glad, because actually the way I learned how to do this, what I'm about to show, is by trial and error, and by pretending I was studying for my bachelor, but actually spending hours and hours and hours trying to upload stuff on the Internet Archive with all the metadata. And before going in and before sharing my screen, I want to say that we have been chatting about this also before going live. And I think that the key message of all these video stream in terms of philosophical importance is that metadata is bad when you have big tech spying on you and your messages, but it's incredibly valuable when you want to upload resources and make them retrievable on the internet. And this is why metadata is such a double-edged sword, because it's so powerful that even without having the content of something, by knowing all of its metadata, you can already figure out what it is. And this is why it's so good for tracking people. But at the same time, it's useful for hacker-librarians to retrieve all their content. And instead of just searching for a keyword, using metadata and key values and filtering options in the Internet Archive, also in the graphical interface, to retrieve specific subsets of items you're looking for, is a true blessing. So if you want to make the internet a better place, if you really want to make the Internet Archive the best thing there is, it already is the best thing there is. But it's free storage, universal free storage for the commons, for everyone. And what can be better than that? Anyways, sorry for the blabbing.
It's perfect.
What I wanted to say, though, if you want to do something great for the internet, take some more time when you upload stuff and fill out all the metadata fields. With that said, let me share my screen and let me show you how we can do this in a very cool and effective way. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So basically, let me open my terminal and let me move to my Hacker-Librarian folder that I created just for this occasion. And let me zoom in a bit. Okay. So I'm in my Hacker-Librarian folder, and I have my IA command open. And what I can do is, with the up command, use the spreadsheet flag. And what the spreadsheet flag allows you to do is, instead of putting all the information and the parameters and the file you want to upload in the arguments of the command line, you can just reference a CSV file. In this case, I called it ia.csv, and it's in this folder, and it processes all the files that are in there. So I want to do this, but I will show you an example reference file. And by showing this to you, I can also show you the existing metadata fields that are common to be used. So don't read this main line. It's an explanation. But anyways, just look at here. Let me bold it. Okay. So the date is the date of when the element itself was created. Then there is the identifier of the item. And what Ryan just showed you are many files in one item, which is good if you want to have a batch of footage, videos, or content in one item and just retrieve it, fetch it, and see all the files inside of it. But it is in the Internet Archive, it appears as one like chunk with stuff inside, and what you see is the metadata of that chunk alone. What this incredible feature of using a CSV file as an input allows you to do is that for every row, you can create a different identifier. So in this case, it's for a festival I organize. You're welcome to join us in August. It's called Scambi Festival in Italy, in Sanremo. What I did here is the name of the festival and a dash number of the identifier, and then I had like hundreds of rows below this one with the growing number of the identifier. You can use I'm using LibreOffice now, so you can use LibreOffice tricks to simply take the same cell and increment it by one number every time. So basically the identifier is created by itself. Then you have the title of the element of the item itself. Then there is this what. This what is not actually a metadata. Let me make it red so that you can see. It's not actually a metadata key in the Internet Archive. But the cool thing that you can do in open databases, also on OpenStreetMap, for example, is that if you want to have your own key, you can create it. So if, for example, this was a happy hour, so this picture was taken during a happy hour at our festival, I can say the what is a happy hour and then filter all the items what happy hour while I make a search, and this is so useful. The same goes with location tag, and this is like a nickname for a location. Let's say Piazza Santa Brigida, which is the name of the very wonderful square in Sanremo where we host the festival. And then you have subject. Subject is probably the most useful field in every item, because it's a list of, we could call them tags or categories. In the Internet Archive, they're called subjects. And why do you see these numbers? Because subject is actually one element, like it's one key in the Internet Archive metadata, but it's an array. So basically what we do here is insert between square parentheses an incremental number starting from 0, and here you can add all the subjects for that event, for that item. So I use the default Scambi Festival, then Scambi Festival in the year, then the city, then the neighborhood, etc., etc. You can also leave in between subject array elements empty values, and it still works. So here I have many subjects. If you can use any of them, but you can like make the number grow as much as you want. And then you have the creator. The creator is also very useful because in this case it's Scambi Festival, which is because it's the festival. But let's imagine it's a picture I shot. So you can write Tommy, and then in the Internet Archive, I will show you later how it looks in an Internet Archive page, all these items. You can click on the creator and see all the items that this same creator did. So it's so cool. This coverage column, let me make it yellow, because I found that it's very little used on the Internet Archive, but it's actually so useful. So you can use the ISO format, like the ISO standard format, for a location, specifying the country and the area. So IM is the province of Imperia in Italy, where the festival takes place. And so I use IT Italy -IM, and I have the location of where that picture was taken. And also in this case, when I click on it, on the Internet Archive, it allows me to fetch all the images shot there throughout all the Internet Archive items. Then there is the license URL. Pay attention, don't just use license, but license URL. And in this case, you can specify the URL of the creative, like it can be Creative Commons or whatever. Just one note, I am not sure, you should experiment a bit with it. Sometimes it works only, like it's detected only if you use HTTP, not HTTPS, but you can play around with it. Then there is the media type. In this case, for my festival, I've been only uploading images, video, and audios, but you have several kinds. And then the most important thing, like a very critical thing, which is the collection. You can, like by default, when you upload something to the Internet Archive without specifying a collection, it gets into a very general collection, and I suggest not to do that. At the same time, though, if you want to generate a collection for something, you should first upload items and then email or text the Internet Archive staff to create a collection for you based on the items criteria. For example, all the subjects that have, all the items that have Scambi Festival 2022 as a subject could become a collection, Scambi Festival 2022. And this is actually what we have on the Internet Archive. So that if we go on archive.org details.scambi 2022, we should have the collection item. Let's hope it works. No, wait, there was a dash. Wait. Scambi 2022. Okay, here we have
cool.
with all the descriptions and all the items. Before stopping my blabbing, I can reference you to the documentation page where all of these metadata fields exist. So you have also the added date that is generated automatically when you upload something. You could also specify the aspect ratio of your image, the audio codec, the sample rate. There are so many things. You can see it's an infinite a list of stuff. And then to create a collection, there is a specific guide on help.archive.org with all of the information. And I guess that's it. What I can show you is how an item with all of this metadata looks. So you can see this is an interview to the most awarded woman in Italian cinema. Her name is Maricetta Lombardo. She's an audio technician, and she came to our festival. We interviewed her. And so here is the publication date. So if you click on it, you see all of the material uploaded on the Internet Archive that was created on this date. Then usage is actually the license. So the usage rights somebody can have. Then the topics are the subjects. It's a bit confusing because what appears then on the front end is labeled differently as it is on the back end, but this is how it is. So these are the topics. The item size is calculated automatically by the Internet Archive. The added date is generated automatically. This was a custom field I generated. This is the identifier that appears also in the URL. Then you have the location, which is coverage, the one I showed you. So this is like the ISO code for the location. The location tag is the custom name of the square where the interview was taken. And this is like the tool I used. At the time was the Internet Archive Python library 1.9.9. Now I think we are several major versions after this. And this is the custom field I showed you before. What is this? It's an interview, but this is not the Internet Archive standard. I created it for ourselves. So yeah, this is a lot of stuff.
That's really cool.
You opened the festival page. Thank you for showcasing.
Yeah. I was just you mentioned the festival, and I had to look it up right away, and I was gonna maybe scan through and learn about it. But your presentation was so fascinating and interesting. I like was engrossed in that and completely forgot that I had opened this. So yeah, check out Scamby Festival. This looks awesome too. And I know that there's this collection as well. And so like Tommy said, like the correct way to use the Internet Archive is to create a different item for each item that you're uploading and to fill in all of this metadata. I have an example of doing it differently, and I hesitate to say of doing it the wrong way, but it was just different purposes, different use cases. And the Internet Archive is such a magical thing that it enables these different use cases, and it's all free and really fantastic. So you can see that I did not fill out any metadata for this, and it makes this content almost impossible to find. Like Tommy was saying at the beginning, like metadata is bad when it's metadata attached to humans and humans that don't want to be tracked or it poses a risk. Like metadata can pose a huge risk, and in this day and age, we've hopefully been taught that metadata leaks in messaging applications, let's say, or in your phone. These metadata leaks are bad, and the same people that are working to mitigate those risks are also working to build a collection that has a ton of metadata attached to it for content that we do want to find. So that metadata can be very useful when you're looking for festival material that you want, when you're looking for all of the videos from DWeb. For example, we have a DWeb topic that's on here, and I put that into my item, hoping that would help people to find these videos. But these big topics are the first subject, and it is just another giant collection of content. And some of this has a whole bunch of other content inside of it. So like show all files. And you can see this is a BitTorrent archive of the DWeb Summit. So like that stuff is actually inside of other files. Like this stuff isn't even indexed for the search. Tim Berners-Lee and Zuko and Vint Cerf and Gavin Wood. So there's a bunch of really cool friends of ours who wouldn't show up if you're actually searching this artifact, whatever it is. This DWeb Summit 2016 artifact won't show up if you're searching for any of those people. If you search Internet Archive for Gavin Wood or Vint Cerf or Zuko Wilcox, this item won't show up because they aren't in the actual metadata. In the same sense, my videos of our videos that we made the DWeb camp in Brazil in 2023, the videos that I'm currently uploading are really badly indexed. The metadata is just not there. If you're looking for the people who are in the videos, there's no way of finding them in this Internet Archive. So the use case that I'm specifically addressing in this item and in a lot of what the ZK AV Club is doing, I want to make our source material available to everyone else in the ZK AV Club to be able to download these videos as soon as possible and edit them, translate them, cut clips from them, and then release them again. Translating was a big part of the holdup on this one because these videos are a lot in Portuguese and in Spanish. And so I don't have any metadata for them yet. But the metadata is super important. And Tommy's way of doing it with this spreadsheet makes life a lot easier. So if you want to create a bunch of different items in the Internet Archive, that's definitely the place to start. It will take time, but it's super important for the people who want to find your content. Internet Archive is not YouTube. It's not designed for discoverability and for search. There's no algorithm that's running. I should say it is designed for search, but only if the metadata is there. So it is the uploader's responsibility to the searcher, to the person to the audience, essentially. It is the uploader's responsibility to the audience to fill in this metadata, make it accurate, make it searchable, put in this location identifier that Tommy mentioned, that the coverage metadata, that's super interesting. Something I didn't know about, the fact that you can actually like location tag stuff that you're uploading to Internet Archive, because this is something that's like really popular with like Instagram and things like that use an algorithm. So what about all the people who don't want to use Instagram, or the people who have giant video files that they took at a festival or at a camp that they want to share with their community?
Yeah, also, if I can add something, we live in a world and in an epoch where API, the default, like the common practice for API is to be closed and to be inaccessible, and sometimes you even have to pay to access APIs. And the Internet Archive has opened everything. And the fact that the Internet Archive is keeping everything open is such a blessing. And people should be playing, people who actually know how to code, not me, should be playing with those APIs. And for example, it would be so cool to have a map of all the different coverages in the world and fetching the items based on their map location. I think probably it requires too much processing power because it's too many items. But in any case, this kind of different representations of information is very, very, very helpful to be fetched. And also, when you explored like the power of JQ, you thought you lost people, but actually I think JQ is one of the most useful tools of the command line. And also as a library, you can also use it in software because it allows you to filter data and to access it. And since the Internet Archive has so much data and metadata, being very smart in how you access and use those key values is what saves you a lot of time and gets you exactly where you need to be.
Yeah, well said. It's JQ is incredibly powerful. The command line is incredibly powerful, and the key is to really put your focus into it, put your attention into it, and nerd out on this stuff. Like, you know, when you feel the nerd inside of you getting excited, then you're on the right path, and you should pay attention to that. In my opinion, you should pay attention to that instead of opening another tab with another social network or something on it that gives you these real quick dopamine boosts. Like, in fact, Tommy said something earlier before the call that I really love, and it's this idea of using this metadata, filling out this metadata, and using this time as a mindfulness practice. I think is really great because I've been publishing on YouTube for, I don't know, probably like 12 years now or something. I've been live streaming there for 11 years. And I, especially with my live streams, I had very little content to go on as far as metadata goes. And so I would often just skip over it and gloss over it. And now, like, social media, it promotes this kind of behavior of like publish as quickly as possible, get your life on this little tiny hamster wheel of like create, produce, get responses, and then do it again with something else. And it's nerve-wracking, it's stressful, and it's not, I don't think it's healthy. And the idea of having a whole bunch of content that you want to share and taking the time to actually like log it, come up with descriptions about what it is, and then filling out this metadata is a really fulfilling process. And so like make sure you take the time to do it. And this is how people find stuff. So we have, from this Berlin Blockchain Week event that the Zero Knowledge Audiovisual Club just attended and participated in, we ended up with 28 different conversations that we recorded. 6 or so of them were at the DWeb Atelier, which was a pop-up, for want of a better term, at the Funding the Commons event in Berlin. And the DWeb newsletter will have more information about this. So go to getdweb.net and you can sign up for our newsletter. You should do this anyway, but if you do it now, then you're going to find out about the DWeb Atelier. I can see Tommy smiling. Give a nice little plug here. DWeb is super important, and our background comes from Internet Archive. That's kind of why we're doing this. But DWeb is also the reason that we're in this group. It's the reason Zero Knowledge Audiovisual Club exists, part of the reason. And DWeb it's very important to me, but it's important on a global and historic level, I believe. So go to getdweb.net.
Yes. And thank you, Ryan. Thank you very, very much. And it's also worth mentioning that also part of, I don't understand the details, but the web's lead technologist is Arkady, who is also the decentralized storage lead at the Internet Archive. And part of the Internet Archive storage itself is stored on decentralized systems and storage. I cannot tell you more. I'm so sorry. My knowledge is very limited in that sense.
We will have Arkady join us in like a month or so for a discussion about that. So go on.
Perfect. That's perfect then. Do that. And also, I will send the DWeb newsletter in a few hours. So if you're following live, subscribe and you will get it. Otherwise, you can still fetch it and read it later. It will be published at the URL. But in general, what I wanted to say is that actually the web and the Internet Archive are intertwined, not only because of their history, but also because of their mission. And this is also why I think there are a lot of intersections among those who fight for a better internet, I would say. And there are many, many different phases of it. But in the end, it all comes like our interests all converge. So, for example, right now we have been using almost only free software tools. Mm-hmm. OBS is free software. Mm-hmm. Well, we're streaming on YouTube. But anyways, we're using OBS, we are using the command line interface. The Internet Archive tool itself is free software and it's written in Python. It's also worth mentioning that if you know how to contribute, you can very, very easily do that. Python is the most popular programming language out there, so you just go there and contribute however you want to this incredible tool. Yes, and we've been using also LibreOffice to edit the metadata. So I guess like it's all open format, free software, all committing to a greater cause.
Absolutely. We're also, if the meeting place that we're using behind the scenes that y'all can't see is called Video Ninja, video.ninja, the letters VDO.ninja. This is open source software that is hosted on their website, but you can actually self-host it on a local network, and you can have local video calls on your local network without the big bad internet connection. And this was introduced to me at a DWeb camp 3 years ago now. Wow, time flies. So yeah, we're really big on open source software. With DWeb, it's really at the heart of it. And that's not just the software, but that's the freedoms, the values that are actually the movement that's actually behind open source software. It's what brought us all together. It's what led to the communities that are forming from and including the Internet Archive. So it's such a cool feeling to be able to embrace this open source software and to be able to work with amazing people and hopefully educate some folks and help some people use this more often. Awesome. So Arkady will be joining us for an interview about the decentralized technology and the practices that the Internet Archive uses. I have a million questions, and he's agreed to talk me through that. So hopefully sometime in the next month, stay tuned for announcements. So the idea was that this would be a 1-hour workshop. It's also hopefully just the first of many that we can dive into. There's so much that we can get into. And as people have questions, if you have questions about any of this, don't hesitate to contact us. It will help us to know what to talk about in future workshops and what to dive into, because chances are you're not the only person getting stuck where you're stuck or curious about what you're curious about. But before we go, I want to show how I've been using this IA command line tool just in the last few days to solve my problem of sharing many large media files with essentially a public group. Like I could be using Mega or Proton Drive, or I don't know what Microsoft's new thing is, but I could be using any of these cloud storage devices to share all of these giant media files. I have a ton of media files that are anywhere from 4 gigabytes to 10 gigabytes, maybe even more. And I want to share them with people publicly, essentially, so that people can download the interviews and cut clips out if they want to, or edit it together and make a whole new documentary. This is all fair use Creative Commons content, and I don't want it to be stuck on my hard drive. So I could upload it to a cloud storage, or I could use this amazing free tool that we all have access to, that is the Internet Archive. And as long as I don't care about who actually gets access to it, because this is all public, then this to me makes perfect sense, because I can upload to the Internet Archive and people can download it using the command line tool or using the web interface. This video, or this item, has 16 videos uploaded to it already. It's 46 gigabytes. I have more to go. This is probably half of what I'm going to be adding to this. And every one that's uploaded, every video that's uploaded shows the original here, which is also what we saw in my JSON file that I got from the command line. So these are all the original files. They're all listed here on the website. I have one that I forgot to rename before uploading. So I'm like, uh-oh, can I delete something with the Internet Archive command line tool? And it's like let me see, right? They just help me. And there's delete right there. So I'm not going to do this right now, because like deleting stuff off of the internet is scary. And especially like the demo gods don't usually play nice with live demos. So I'm not going to mess around with that right now. But what I can show you is something that I'm going to be doing a lot of in the next, over the weekend, because I have all of these raw videos that I just want to get out there. I'm going to create an item for each of the events that the Zero Knowledge Audio Visual Club produced content at during Berlin Blockchain Week. And I'm going to upload all of the interviews that are accepted by the participants. We're getting consent first, and then I'll be uploading them. And it'll be similar to this. So I'll be adding new MP4 files that are up to 10 gigabytes and onto the same thing. And the command for this is pretty simple. Like it's / there's so IA and then up, and then it needs the identifier, right? So in the URL, here's the identifier that I'm working with, and then space. And now I have the 2 files that I want to upload on my desktop already right up here. And I'm just going to drag them down into the terminal, which is like, what? Weird. It's not a website. I can't just drag and drop, but you can. And it puts the path to the file right there. And then like, that's not the only one I want to add, because like the being able to upload multiple files in a queue is really nice. And I'm just going to drag this down there, and holy crap, it works. So here I've got 2 files now in one command. And if I hit enter, and I'm not going to do this because we're live streaming from my place right now, and Rabmar is behind me live streaming out to YouTube and stuff. So if I do this, it's probably just going to bring my internet connection down and make it crash. We're at the end of the workshop, so who knows what I'll do. But if I hit enter right now, it would start the upload of the first file, and it gives me a nice progress bar, which is something the web interface does not give. So even that alone is like a huge satisfying win. And you know what? I'm just going to do it. So if this brings it all down and the internet and the internet crashes, then I'm sorry. But let's see what happens. Yeah, so it started the upload now. Hopefully you all can still see and hear me. It's going pretty fast. My internet connection's all right. I did notice that if the file is larger than 2 gigabytes, then the upload will sometimes get to a point of multiple seconds per megabyte. This is incredibly frustrating, but at least it tells me what's happening. The web interface doesn't give any of this information. It doesn't tell you. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, Ryan. There are two very big mysteries in here. First of all, how can you have an okay internet connection in Berlin? That's the biggest mystery. Second of all, what is that 898 number? Because I tried, like, while I was uploading, I was checking if it was the number of megabytes. I was checking. I don't know what the number is. So if anybody discovers that, please tell us, because I don't know.
That's the number of megabytes. The first video I'm uploading is 897 megabytes.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, maybe it's not consistent. I have uploaded a whole bunch, and I didn't even really notice that number. I was looking always at the percentage here. But the percentage is a great thing to have, and the progress bar is awesome. I like the nerdy look of this, like something about the command line, just like it tickles the nerd in me. And so seeing this little ASCII command processing bar is really nice. And then
I think command line porn is a thing. So this is command line porn.
I'm not going to search for it, but yeah, I totally get what you mean. I grew up with the command line. I grew up with DOS. So for me, it feels like childhood. For a lot of people, I could imagine it's like, what is this weird hacker stuff? But you can be a hacker too. That's essentially what we're trying to convey in this workshop, is that you can feel like a hacker too. And it's not a negative thing at all. It's really an empowering feeling. And even if it's just a matter of like, hey, I made this thing happen, and now it's uploading, it's sending. It's going pretty fast. I don't know how it's holding up, or why my internet connection is being so kind today. But that's great. And once it finishes with this file, it will go on to the next one. And the next one's 7.4 gigabytes. So that, in my experience of the last few days that I've been uploading these large video files, these here that you see listed, I think it was going at about 1.5 gigs per hour. So it still took about 6 hours for this 10 gigabyte one to go through. Oh, it looks like John dropped off. So now we've got like this funny double window thing going on in Rubma. You see that? Okay. So this that's a bit confusing, but that's okay. So yeah, I think it'll take about 6 hours. But if I did more of these files one after the other, then it would continue to add them and go on to the next one. So what I actually did, because I didn't know about this CSV spreadsheet that Tommy had created, I didn't know that I could do it that way. And I didn't know what all metadata I needed. So I'm going to go back and rewatch this video and learn from Tommy on how to do the CSV thing, because then I can at least create a new item in the Internet Archive for each of these interviews. And I have some interviews that are multiple files. So I can still just add one file to the item initially, and then go back and add the other files using the process that I just illustrated and showed you. So it's much easier than you might think. If you're looking at the documentation and you're a little bit scared because there's all this command line stuff, even in the quick start, there's all of this red text that is like curl stuff and chmod stuff. And it can be intimidating if you don't know what any of this is. And in general, we always recommend do not just copy from a website and paste it into your terminal. Like, it's best if you understand and know what it's doing before you paste it in your terminal. This is coming from archive.org, so I inherently trust it. I also understand what these are saying. So I can tell you, if you want to set up this tool, go to archive.org/developers, find the quick start guide, and go through it. if you have trouble, contact us, reach out, we'll help you out. And then who knows, it might be the inspiration for a future workshop.
Exactly. And also, I think probably all of this functionality is in a command line tool, because adding a graphical interface to all of this probably is a lot of work. But since it's written in Python, I think it could really be possible if somebody had time and the motivation to maybe create a native interface out of this. I don't know, using GTK or Qt. This would be actually one of my dreams. I would hug that person forever. So totally. And since I'm talking already, I'm sorry, but I have to say, I realized that I forgot to say one important thing, very important thing, which is that what characterizes the web, because we talked about like shared values and convergence of ideals and missions. But actually, when we speak about values, it's important to mention that what sets the web apart from all the other communities and movements are a set of very, very paramount dweb principles that you can read at gettheweb.net/principles. They are written by people, like people who sat and got together, and after a few days of brainstorming, actually, I think they did it over 2 different dweb camps, maybe, or for sure they did it while sitting together, and they conceived these principles that go way beyond the technology itself, but it's above all about values, about principles. And I think this is like my closing speech in a way. Like the DWeb principles are really, really great, and I encourage everyone who believes in them to support them by starting a local group, getting in touch with us. Of course, you can just subscribe to the newsletter and stay up to date, but we really, really encourage and welcome everyone who believes in those principles to get active, and also incorporate the work they do.
Yes.
So like you can anybody can join the web.
Yeah, and we definitely encourage you to. So I see that Jason Scott is in the YouTube chat, and hi, Jason. It's really an honor to have you join our chat, and you're answering some questions for folks. One of the questions we had earlier was, can you update metadata after the files are uploaded or not? And the answer is yes, you can. Metadata can be changed. The command line tool is very, very powerful. And once you have a grasp of it, it's actually quite simple. Jason goes on to say that that he uses it, moves over 2,000 items a day using the Internet Archive tool. Moving over 2,000 items a day and finding and fighting spam, mass ingestions of material, repair and modifications of poorly classified items, and more. Like, Jason Scott does so much with the content on the Internet Archive that, like, I'm incredibly grateful for the work that you do, Jason Scott, and it's really, really cool. So definitely keep it up for all of our sake, and for Jason Scott's sake. If any of you are out there and you want to start uploading to the Internet Archive, don't hesitate to do it, and please don't spam it at the same time. Like, this is a very powerful public resource and public good that we're all empowered with. So, like, use it for good. There's that old saying from Spider-Man that I'm not going to quote, but this is. Then there was a question of, I wonder if this live recording we'll be able to watch later. The answer is yes. You can watch it again on YouTube later. Then Jason Scott replied that these are trivial to duplicate, and we'll get it up on the archive. He says, I'll probably do it. I am in the process of uploading all sorts of stuff to the Internet Archive, and I intend to make it a part of my regular process, especially with this tool. It'll make everything a lot easier. And with this new mindset that Tommy has introduced me to, of like filling out metadata as a mindfulness practice, like join the urgency resistance, fight the efficiency, and take your time to do things the way that it will benefit others. Because really that's what this metadata is about. It's to make it so that your audience can find the content that you're publishing. And if it's not content that you're making, even like if it's something that you want the world to have and to have for hopefully forever, if the Internet Archive lasts that long, this decentralized tools that Arcadia is working on is leading the charge on, will certainly help us to make sure it lasts forever. And if DWeb has its way, then we can succeed at all of this. So check out getdweb.net, go sign up for the newsletter, check out our principles, come to our camps, and then use the Internet Archive command line tool. That's why we're here today, and I think that's why we'll be back here again, because we are more than happy to dive into this in more detail. But today we're out of time. I hope that you all enjoyed it. Tommy, thank you so much for joining us. This was really, really fantastic, and your enthusiasm is inspiring.
My pleasure. Absolutely my pleasure. And thank you, Ryan. I also have to thank Ryan and all the ZKAV club. It's just, wow. You make things happen. It's just fun. I was like, I thought this would have been like a very chill thing. It actually is. But you make all of this incredible amount of like infrastructural management, all of these streams, etc., seems so simple that I have to be very, very, very grateful to you and to all of you do. So thanks a lot for having me, and I really, really hope I can join again. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. Your words have me blushing. It's really an honor and a privilege, and I look forward to doing a lot more of it. So yeah, I guess like in case you aren't following all of this stuff, the way to find out more about this sort of thing, follow Internet Archive on X, on Blue Sky. You'll probably get more exposure and more stuff, more content from that account if you follow on Blue Sky. It kind of goes without saying at this point that no matter who you follow on X, you're not going to see their posts because the algorithm has just completely taken over. And Blue Sky is a much better place to go once you get used to how the protocol works and how that all works. So follow Internet Archive, follow ZKAV Club. ZKAV.club is our website, and we'll be doing a lot more stuff with that. You can get to our social accounts from there. And getdweb.net is the DWeb website. Go sign up for the newsletter. You can follow GetDWeb on X and DWeb on Blue Sky. And stay tuned for more stuff like this. Like we love open source technology, we love decentralized technologies, and we love teaching everyone how to use it to empower and amplify their own voices in their own communities. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
I hope you have a nice weekend.
Bye. You too.
Okay, now I don't know how to stop the live stream on YouTube at exactly the right time, so I'm just waiting until I wave, and then I'm going to hit end stream. And there we go.
Okay.
It may have got that little outro that I just did too, but I'm not sure. Cool. We're